Hello and good day again to all of you M4s out there. And this is teacher Veronica again for our English grammar class. And this is already our lesson number 7. So if you were to recall, we already had finished our lesson number 6 last time. And we tackled about vocabulary and spelling, that is week number 2. And for today, I'm still going to continue with that spelling and vocabulary. But this time, I'm going now to move on to week number 3. And as you noticed, I did not yet go on with the worksheets that you are holding right now about prefixes or suffixes because I am reserving that for our next lesson. Don't worry, that will be the next thing that we are going to use after this vocabulary. I want to finish this in order that you will be ready for our quizzes by next month. So I hope you will always review whatever I will be discussing with you for now and also what I have discussed with you last time. So in total, I would like to remind you that after this discussion, we have now 3 sets of vocabulary words. First one is your homework. Second, I already finished it. And third, here we are to discuss it. Okay? So, get hold of your worksheets now for your spelling and vocabulary list, as well as your pen and your English grammar notebook. Because you have to copy the details of the discussion so that at least you will be ready. Okay, but before doing that, before we are going to tackle or discuss these words one by one, I would like you to get hold first of your list, of your vocabulary list. And let's try to practice orally the pronunciation, correct stresses of each word so that you know how to read them correctly. Okay, so are you ready with your pens? Here we go. Repeat after me. I will pronounce the word 2 times. Then after which you're going to do it as well. I will give you time to do that. So this is your oral practice for your spelling and vocabulary words, week number 3. Here we go. Number 1, chasm, chasm. Number 2, conceivable, conceivable. 3, consciousness, consciousness. 4, cavalcade, cavalcade. 5, chagrin or chagrin. Either way, it's correct. Okay, I will use the first one. Chagrin, chagrin. Number 6, justice, justice. 7, click, click. 8, chaotic, chaotic. 9, chronic, chronic. 10, conscientious, conscientious. 11, corroborate, corroborate. 12, deprivation, deprivation. 13, disastrous, disastrous. 14, drudgery, drudgery. And last but not least, espionage, espionage. Okay, so after we have pronounced already the words, so we are ready now to tackle each word one by one. So on the board, as you can see, I've written already the first three, or rather, yeah, the first three words. Okay, so let's try to see what these words are. First, we have the word chasm, and its spelling is with a CH. But remember, it's the same way how you also pronounce the word cat. So we do not say chasm, but we say cat. Okay, so that is the same sound. Now we say chasm. Chasm is a noun, and when we say chasm, we understand this in two ways. Either literal or what you call figurative way of understanding. When we say literal, this is the ordinary or the primary meaning of any word or any term. But when we say figurative, it means that it is more abstract or imaginative in meaning, okay, than the literal or the ordinary meaning. Okay, so going back to our chasm, when we say chasm literally, we mean divide. Okay, so it is what you call a split. We use this to describe a split in a land formation. We normally see this when there is an earthquake. Okay, and when there is an earthquake, at times the soil separates. Is it not? It divides. Therefore, that instance wherein the soil will divide or the ground will divide, that is what you call now literally as chasm. Okay, so there is a split in the land formation. Okay, and when we say chasm in a figurative way, we mean that we are describing something that is very profound. Or another word for profound is large. Okay, what is this profound that we are describing? We are talking about the very profound difference in the opinions or beliefs of individuals or groups of people, meaning to say that they have very different views when it comes to different issues. Like, for example, person A has a very different belief or opinion when it comes to divorce. Maybe his belief or his opinion is that it is okay to have divorce. But then here comes another individual saying that, or person B, he doesn't accept what you call divorce. That's why this kind of, opinion is very different. That is what you call chasm. Now, if we're going to use it in a sentence, then we would say, Jack and I ended our relationship because of religious chasm that divide us. Yes, difference in religion is a very, big aspect when it comes to relationship. If two people who are in a relationship do not have the same belief when it comes to religion, then at times that is the cause of the breakup. Okay, so with this sentence, we can see now that maybe these two people really don't agree on matters, especially when it comes to religion. That's why the result is they opted to end their relationship. So that is the meaning of what you call chasm. Okay, so let's go to another word, which is conceivable. As you can see, conceivable ends in able. Able is a suffix. The moment you see able used in a word at the end, then that is already what you call an adjective. When we say conceivable, it means that this is something that you can imagine. It is something that you can believe in. Okay? Or it is something that you understand. Okay? So that is what you call conceivable, something that you can imagine, understand, or believe in. So the synonym would be imaginable, possible, or likely, plausible. Plausible is another word for possible, or something that is believable. Okay, so that is the synonyms for this word. So when we're going to use it in a sentence, we would say, without the support of our school director, this activity or event could not have been conceivable. So what do you understand with this? This activity could not have been possible. So that is already the meaning to our conceivable. Okay. So when we say that you can really imagine something or you believe in that it will happen, then that is what you call conceivable. Okay. So let's say, for example, can you imagine the world that we are living in, for example, after 100 years? So we could say that it is quite conceivable or it's quite imaginable that in 100 years from now, the world will be an, let's say, unrecognizable place to live in. Why? Because of the rapid transformation of technology. Okay, maybe by the time, I'm just imagining that, you will no longer have teachers, human teachers, teaching subjects like this. But maybe because of technology, we will just have what you call teachers who will be speaking to you over the computer. So then you don't need already human teachers. It can already, the school can be run without humans already. We can just go and have our classes even then we don't go to school literally. Okay, so that is what you call conceivable, something that you can imagine. Okay, that will happen. Okay, so let's go on now to our consciousness. Consciousness again is a word that ends in ness. And when we say ness, that is already a suffix referring to a noun. Now, you can also have it in the plural form by adding es. Now, in this case, what is the meaning of consciousness? It is the condition of being awake. Of course, you are not asleep and able to understand because you are aware what is happening around you. So, when you are conscious, you know what is happening. You can hear what any sounds. So, you can react to it. So, that is being conscious. But if you are unconscious, which is the opposite, meaning to say you don't know what is happening around you. Let's say, for example, if you met an accident and then you fell down, of course, you fainted. And in that case, you are unconscious. You don't know already what is happening around you. Okay? So now, if we say consciousness, the other meaning to it would be awareness or knowledge of something else. What is this knowledge of something? Oh, different issues like political, social, military, or religious issues. Okay, so let's try to use them in sentences as well. Okay. Okay, so I was saying earlier with number 3 word, consciousness is a noun wherein it tells us the condition of being aware, or meaning to say you are awake, and thereby you understand what is already happening around you. But if you don't know what is happening around you, that means to say that we move on to the opposite or to the antonym of it. If you don't know what is happening around you, that means you are unconscious. Okay, so that is the opposite of it. Let's use this first meaning of consciousness in a sentence for this one. She hit her head on a rock. Maybe she stumbled and then lost consciousness and she fainted. In this case, therefore, she already doesn't know what is happening around her. Okay, so because she lost consciousness. Okay, and of course, you really need to bring a person to the hospital if somebody is already unconscious, or if somebody lost consciousness, then you have to bring her immediately to the hospital. Okay, so that is the first meaning. But then we also have another meaning, which is it means awareness, or you are knowledgeable of something that is specified, or an issue. What are these things that we are talking about? What is this something? We are talking maybe of you are knowledgeable about political issues, social issues, military issues, religious issues, and the like. So let's just give an example of social issues. Social issues that you are aware of, maybe it's about poverty, it's about population, it's about maybe education, okay, unemployment. These are what you call examples of social issues that a person will be knowledgeable of. And in what way? Of course, through your reading. You will be very conscious already of those issues if you read a lot. Now, let's say, for example, in the second sentence, this sentence is for the second meaning. Example, this debate will increase public consciousness of the pollution issue. Okay, so that because of this issue that it is being talked about in that debate, then it will increase what you call public consciousness. What your knowledge about how to at least help the country in order that this problem will be solved. If every individual will start or will give his part or will do his part to solve this issue, then I guess, and I'm pretty sure that this issue now will be solved, or this problem will be solved. That's why it's very good to be aware at times of these issues, because in one way or the other, you can really help in your own little way. Okay, so please copy before I move on to the fourth and until the sixth word. I just hope that while I am discussing, you should also be writing, so at least I can immediately proceed to the next words. So if I may just add, and again to reiterate, what are the synonyms of this word consciousness? It means if you know what is happening around you, you are awake. If you know of topics or issues, you are aware. Okay, or you are knowledgeable about it, or you are sensitive. You are sensible. You still have that sensibility because you know what is going around. That is another meaning of consciousness. Okay, so now let's move on to our next words, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth. Now, let's go also to the fourth word, which is cavalcade. Cavalcade is a noun, and you can add form its plural by adding s to it. So, it's a noun, and you can just add s if you want to use it in the plural form. Now, when we say cavalcade, we are referring to a line of people, maybe riding on horses, or a line of cars, or carriages. Long time ago, they used the carriages, but this time we are not using it anymore. Okay, so long as it's a line of people, a line of vehicles, or cars, or riders, motorbike riders, that are moving along in one or the same direction. So that is what you call cavalcade. So what is the synonym for this? We are talking about the column, right? Or the parade. Imagine people walking side by side with each other, moving in the same direction. That is called a parade. Or another word, it is a procession. So, and how are we going to use this word in a sentence? We can say that citizens lined in the streets to see the Princess Cavalcade on his wedding day. Of course, if the person is really famous, we really would like to be a witness to his grand day. That is his wedding day. That's why people really lined up waiting for the cavalcade, meaning the line of cars that will be arriving in any minute. So at least to see the princess on his wedding day. Okay, rather the prince on his wedding day. Okay, so let's move on to our next, chagrin or chagrin. Chagrin can be a noun, it can also be a verb, or it can also be an adjective. So, what is this chagrin that we are talking about? It's a feeling of annoyance. You were annoyed, or you are annoyed of something, you were disappointed, or you were embarrassed or dissatisfied because something has not happened the way you hoped for. Maybe you were hoping that this thing should happen, but it did not. Or at other times, you are disappointed maybe because you blame it to yourself. Maybe you did not do your part. That's why it is your own mistake, or it's because of your own failure that thing happened. That's why sometimes you get angry to yourself. Why? It's because, why did that happen? I should have done this. That is really a feeling of disappointment or annoyance to yourself. On the other hand, you can also be annoyed to other people because you were hoping that this thing will happen, but it did not because of the doings or actions of other people. That is what you call chagrin. Now, you can add ed to convert it into an adjective. That's why this word can be used already as a predicate adjective, just as what I have discussed earlier, or on the functions of nouns and adjectives. Now, how are we going to use chagrin? Sometimes the expressions like this will come in. As you notice, we have here to her, and then after that, chagrin, or to him, or to his rather, or to their chagrin. Well, it depends how many people you're talking about. For example, you can start using it by having that to her, to him, to his, to their. And how about another way? You can use also this expression, much to his, and then come in with the vocabulary word. Let's have a look at this. To her chagrin, neither of her sons became doctors. Or neither of her sons became a doctor. So, for that, what is the meaning of this? You can substitute chagrin with the word disappointment. Okay, because of the meaning of the sentence. So, to her disappointment, neither of her sons became doctors. So, in here, we can say that we can use already this expression before that vocab word. Another way is, much to his chagrin, he did not win the race. So in this sentence, we made use of much to his disappointment, or much to his embarrassment, he did not win the race. So as you can see in the second sentence, who is to be blamed? It's himself. He did not win the race because he did not also do his part. Maybe he failed because he did not really practice a lot. That's why he did not win the race. How about in the first sentence? Who is to be blamed? Oh, it is other people. Because she, or maybe the mom, had been hoping that one or two of her sons will become doctors, but it did not happen. The thing that she is hoping for did not really happen. So that is the meaning of chagrin. And when you feel that kind of feeling, it is a feeling of embarrassment, annoyance, disappointment, or humiliation. Okay, so that is another synonym for chagrin, humiliation or dissatisfaction. Aside from one synonym, which is embarrassment, another, annoyance or disappointment. So in my exam, I will be giving also some synonyms and you have to identify what word is that. Okay, so now I'm telling you, chagrin, the synonyms would be annoyance, disappointment, embarrassment, humiliation, or dissatisfaction. Okay, so there we go with our number 6 word. We have justice. Justice is a verb. It can also be a noun. Okay, so when we say justice, it means that when you get angry at someone else severely or very strongly, it's because maybe you were not satisfied of what he did. That's why you criticize, or when we say criticize, you say words that are not good to hear. So to criticize someone or some people strongly for doing something wrong. Maybe he did not follow or they did not follow your instructions. That's why you got angry. And after which you're going to utter words that are not already good to hear. And it's not good to do that. Or the worst part is when you have justice, you punish someone, especially just because he did not do well. And what do? You hit him or you hit them, which is not again good to do. Okay. So example, the coach, the one who is handling the players. The coach is always chastising. That's why I said earlier it can be a verb. That's why we can have it in the present progressive. The coach is always chastising the players for minor mistakes. Meaning, the coach is always criticizing, giving bad words to them just because they did not follow his instructions, or maybe they were not that good in their practice. That's why he did this, okay, criticism. So he's criticizing his players just because of minor mistakes. Okay, please copy. Now let's try also to look at the word click, spelled as Clique. Click is a noun. Okay. I know that in school you have your group of friends. If you have only one friend whom you always go with, only the two of you going together anywhere and doing your homework, that person is your best friend because you trust him or you trust her. But if you are with a group of friends, like for example with a group of 5, 6 in one group, you always are together, that kind of group is already called a clique. And what is this clique? It is a very exclusive group of friends. Why is it exclusive? We have this word exclusive. It's because they are the only ones who should be together. No other outsider should come in. So do not welcome others who will join them if ever they are doing something else. So that is why it is very exclusive, because they are the only ones who should always be together. And how do we describe this clique group that we are talking about? When we say clique, it means that your group really always spend time together right after class or even before class, or you eat together during lunch break, you go anywhere. If somebody goes to the restroom, everybody will follow. That is for the girls, as well as also for the boys. It seems like you are very inseparable. Or when you do things, your homework, well, you also do it together. Now, whether good or bad, things that you do, you are always in a group. So, to that extent, you are really very close. Okay. And the members really the members of that group really don't like other people to be joining their group, because that's why it's called exclusive. Okay. So, for example, if somebody cheated, oh, everybody will also do it. Or if somebody made a mistake, they will defend that person because he or she is part of the clique. Okay, so let's have a look at this sentence. Maria did not receive an invitation to Rachel's birthday party because she is not part of the popular clique. Yeah, this group many times or often they are very popular because they're in group, they're very strong. That's why some students really shun away from this kind of group because they have the tendency to be sometimes very loud, very noisy, or very proud in the campus. So in this sentence, we have here in a birthday party, but Rachel only invited those friends of hers who belong to her clique group. And Maria, who is not, then she did not receive what you call an invitation. So that is how unwelcome you are if you are not part of the clique group. So another word for clique, it is a group, it is a set, crowd, or what you call pack. When you say pack, it's still talking about group. Okay. So moving on, let's have our word which is chaotic. Chaotic is an adjective. Look at the suffix again of the word. It is IC. It came from the word chaos. So this is the original word of that. Chaos is a noun. So when we describe something to be chaos, it is in a state of complete disorder and confusion. Or maybe a situation in which everything is happening in a very confusing way and it is very uncontrolled. Imagine a class, okay, who is in a chaotic situation. So how do you describe these students in that class? Or if you say the class is in chaos, like for example, some students might be running around, especially for the small kids, they are really uncontrolled. So they might be running around. Some maybe will be shouting, some maybe will be fighting, and the teacher maybe who cannot control them really doesn't know anymore what to do. So that is what you call a class that is in chaos. Or if it's a situation that is chaotic, it is a state of complete disorder and confusion. So granting that thing happened, and it so happened that the department head was looking at the TV screen or CCTV, and she saw already this class who is really, in this chaotic situation. So what happened? She called all the students and gave punishment to these students. So then this student, maybe Mario, was part of the chaotic class that was punished by the department head of the school. Maybe because of that instance or situation. Maybe there was fighting, or there was destruction in the property of the school because maybe they were playing with the chairs and tables. That is what you call chaotic. Now, as another word for chaotic will be disordered. Disordered also is an adjective which means untidy. Okay. We are not only talking about people for this situation. We can also talk of your things that are very untidy. Maybe the things that are on your desk and you are trying to look for something else. Just because your desk is disordered, that's why you cannot really look for the thing that you are looking for. Okay. So another word for that untidiness is what you call cluttered, uncontrolled for the behavior of people, or disarrayed. Okay, so now let's go to our chronic. Chronic again is ending in IC, which therefore will tell us that it is an adjective. There are three situations whereby you should understand the meaning of chronic as an adjective. Okay, so first thing, so we say that chronic is an illness or disability that lasts for a long time. So it is a kind of an illness or a disease that you have been suffering for many years already. Like in this case, since my father suffers from chronic arthritis, so this is the illness that we're talking about. So why is it chronic? Because he has been suffering this kind of illness for a long time already. So he has been walking with a cane for years. You know what a cane is? Whenever you cannot walk, you need support. It looks like the umbrella, is it not? That you have to use when you walk so that at least you will not fall. So this is your support. So that is what you call chronic illness. So chronic may mean about illness or disability that you have been suffering from for a long time. So again, please copy before I continue. Okay, so if I may just add more to the first meaning of chronic that we were talking about a while ago, we said that it is about an illness that is already, that lasts for a long time, and most often it can no longer be cured. So when we say that it is very serious already, or it had been there, you had been experiencing it for a long time, then that is also to be described as acute. It means continuing for a long time. So that is the first definition of chronic. And here comes another. When we say chronic, it also describes someone exhibiting what you call bad habits or behavior that is no longer uncontrolled. Why? Because it seems like you can no longer control yourself, or you cannot stop your behavior, that bad habit that you are doing. Say, when we use it, then we can say that he was brought to the mental hospital due to his chronic addiction on drugs. So if you have that bad habit that you can no longer control, that is now termed to be an addiction. Okay. This addiction is like you can no longer really stop yourself from doing it. Just like in this sentence. Well, he is addicted to drugs. So what is the result of it? Then he had a mental disorder due to the effect of drugs in his body or in his brain. So apart from this addiction on drugs, what are other addictions also? You might not know that you are also having it or experiencing this kind of addiction. So we can also experience addiction when it comes to your playing of online games. So that is one example, online games. Okay. Because you don't know already what is day and what is night. So you do that 24 hours and you have the tendency to forget also about your health. So because you cannot control it anymore, that is already called an addiction and it's not already good. It's no longer healthy. So another addiction also is maybe addiction on food. Would you believe that? You can also be addicted to this eating. It is possible. That's why nowadays we see people who are described to be obese, too fat. They can no longer even move and they just stay there on their bed because they cannot really walk even. It's just because their non-stop addiction to eating is already not healthy. That's why it happened already that their body changed a lot. Okay, so that is what you call chronic addiction to drugs, chronic addiction to games, online games, or to food. So that is the meaning. Okay. Your bad habits or behavior that may seem to be non-stop, okay, or unstoppable. Another, we also have chronic, it describes a situation or a problem that is already serious or severe and unpleasant or severe. Maybe what is the result? It might result to chaos. Say for example, what is a serious problem or what is an unpleasant situation that may happen? For example, the shortage in the sentence. There is a chronic shortage of patrol cars in the city. We all know that policemen are very important. They should be very visible and they need patrol cars in order that they can do their job or function easily. In this case, so if there is a shortage of this, so that is the problem, that is the situation, then it is very dangerous because it might result to chaos. People can do whatever they want because they know that nobody can control them. The fact that the problem is in here, the shortage of what you call the need of these patrol cars. Okay, so then what are the words related to this chronic word? We have serious, dangerous, acute because it's long lasting, and then alarming, and another word is long lasting. So that is what you call chronic. Okay. Then we have also conscientious. Look at the spelling. It might be very confusing on your part when I will give already the spelling. When we say conscientious, we are describing someone who is very careful when it comes to his job or when it comes to doing of his work. Why? Because he knows that he should do it because it is his duty to finish something or to do it. That is the reason why he is considered to be conscientious. Somebody who is very responsible and very careful in doing something, or especially his job. So it means, therefore, that he puts a lot of effort in his work. We are not only talking about the work or the job. We can also talk about your work as a student. Is it not? That's why we have also this phrase, a conscientious student. And when you do your work, your duty as a student, then that kind of putting your effort is described to be painstaking. Okay, okay, there. painstaking. So that is the description of a student who does his duty as a student and not just to be very easy-go-lucky student. Okay. On the other hand, let's talk about a job as well. A teacher who does her job, okay, very well. That is considered to be conscientious. A conscientious teacher may feel inclined to take her work home. So, well, it's a fact that for us teachers, we really need to extend time doing our job as teachers, not only within the school hours, but we do our job also after school hours. So that's why we bring our work at home, marking papers or checking or reading. That is what you call the description of a conscientious teacher. Okay, so please copy. Now, if we were to continue with our word, we have a word which is corroborate, ending again with ate. The moment you have the word corroborate, sometimes it may be a verb. I say sometimes because at times it's not only a verb, it can also be an adjective. That's why I said not always. So corroborate in here, it means if you want to confirm a statement that somebody said in order to that because you're going to provide an evidence about that case. For example, how will you do that? You're going to give additional information or additional facts in order that maybe the court will believe you. Or maybe if somebody is asking you about something else of what he did and you will corroborate, meaning you're going to give more facts so that it will be proven that he did it or he is guilty, then that is what you call corroborate, to corroborate. So you're going to support by giving statements, by giving your opinions, by giving the truth of what you have seen, especially by providing fresh evidence. Okay. So when we say you can use this, for example, maybe in class. Maybe when you had the quiz, one of your classmates saw that person B cheated in the quiz. So what he did was he went to the teacher and told that this person cheated. And of course, the teacher won't believe immediately about that accusation. So what she does is she will call for another person who is maybe trusted to really give his or her statement. The person maybe who is just near that person who cheated, according to the classmate. So in that case, maybe that is the situation. So in this case, we can say that Napason's statement, this is the person who saw the student who cheated. Napason's statement were corroborated by her classmate's testimony. This is the witness who saw also what this student did. And so, once the teacher will already have this pieces of evidence that, okay, this student really did this, then maybe then the teacher will call for the student who cheated. So that is what we meant by to corroborate, to give a supporting statement, supporting evidence or facts or opinions in order that it will strengthen more the accusation being given to a certain person. Okay. So, for example, also in this sentence, my co-workers can corroborate that the fact that I was at work all day. Maybe in the attendance, the owner of or the manager saw that person A or employee A was not present or had been absent maybe for a day, maybe on this day. But then this worker said that I was present on that day and my co-workers saw me that I was at work the whole day. Maybe the checker in charge, who is in charge of checking the attendance, forgot or did not just tick his name. That's why he was marked absent. And in this case, again, the employee will tell the manager that my co-workers can corroborate. You ask any of my co-workers in that area and they can testify that I was at work all day. That is the meaning of corroborate. Okay, so if we would like to give more of the meanings of it, then we can say that it has a synonym of support, establish, confirm, okay, or to back up or to prove that the statement was true. Okay, that is corroborate. Let's go to another word. It is deprivation. Deprivation ending with tion is already automatically a noun. Since it is a countable noun, you can form its plural by adding s after your singular noun deprivation. When we say deprivation, it means that if you suffer from this deprivation, it means that you do not have the things that you need in order to survive, or you lack something in order that you can also live happily. So, in this case, because you are deprived of those things that will make you live, survive, be happy, and be comfortable in life, that is what you call now deprivation. Another meaning would be like you are in an extreme state of poverty. What is the meaning of extreme? Too much. Maybe you really don't have a job, no house, nothing at all. That's why you are deprived of the things that you need in order to live. That is deprivation. So again, when we say deprivation, you lack the things that you need in order to be healthy, in order to live comfortably, in order to be happy. That is the meaning. So when does that happen? Let's have a look at this sentence. After the earthquake, there was a huge deprivation of food and water in Haiti. Oh, this was the place where the earthquake happened. And after that, what happened? People did no longer have anything to eat or water to drink. That is again an example of deprivation. But then let's not forget that when we talk of deprivation, we are not only talking of material things. Sometimes we can also refer deprivation to like lack of emotions. For example, what are these? Love, care, attention. Is it not? Like for example, the child was deprived of love and attention from his parents because they left him, okay, all to his grandmother. Okay, they left they left him to his grandmother, and that's why they did no longer take care of him. He was deprived of the love of the parents as well as their care and their attention, which is very sad, right? So, when we convert this into a verb, I used it, by the way, in my sentence, we can now say it is deprive. Okay. We will come to word formation later on, and we will go back to these words later. Okay. So that is the verb form of deprivation. Okay. Let's go on to our synonyms. Of course, it has the same meaning with lack. We have denial, deficiency, or loss. Okay, so that is again the meaning of deprivation, number 12. Okay. Now for our number 13, we have the word disastrous. Disastrous ending in OUS is an adjective. It came from the noun disaster. So when we say disaster, okay. So when we say disastrous, it means very bad, or what you call that may end in failure or unsuccessful. It may be unsuccessful. So therefore, we can say that a disastrous event has an extremely bad consequences and effects to humans or to our environment. Let's say, for example, what could be the consequence of a disastrous earthquake? We all know that. You have watched in movies or from movies what happens to a country right after a disastrous earthquake, or maybe to the people. Okay. So, and then we can also say that for example, what could be the effect of another disaster that may be experienced by human beings? For example, pollution. Everybody's affected with it. It is really a very big problem in the whole world. So what will pollution do to us? What will be the extremely bad effect of this kind of problem? So let's see this one. Pollution can have disastrous effects, extremely bad effects on the delicately balanced ecosystem. Well, of course, due to the pollution, okay, that is created by man, then what happens? It can affect our lakes, our streams, and because this pollution can turn into acids, then they affect our streams, our lakes, and then it will also affect the trees. Then what happens? Then people will also be affected with it. So, well, that is what you call the chain reaction that will result because of the wrongdoings of man and because of this pollution. And thereby, it will have a very extremely or very bad or extremely bad effect on us, human beings. It will come back to us, especially if we do not discipline ourselves when it comes to our very simple way of throwing our trash. That's why, as early as now, let's try to be more disciplined in order that we can contribute, even then just a little bit, of this problem that the whole world is that we are suffering from, pollution. Okay, so that is what we meant by disastrous, something that is very bad. Okay, extremely bad, and it will turn out to be fatal, something devastating. It is terrible, and another word, devastating, or something that is tragic. Why tragic? Because of the effect of this, like for example, the earthquake and this pollution, then of course tragic in the sense that people will die. That is now the very bad effect of it. Okay, so that is disastrous. It came from the word disaster, which is a noun. Let's go now to our drudgery. Drudgery, of course, is also a noun, and it is a countable noun. That's why you can form its plural by changing y into I and then add es. This is now the plural form of drudgery. Okay, so it will become drudgeries. So what do you mean by this drudgery? You use drudgery to talk about jobs or whatever task given to you, which you describe it to be boring and really very unpleasant to you, because when it is boring, you do it routinarily, meaning you have the same schedule day in and day out, and so of course you will get bored by that. That is what you call now drudgery. It is a very boring, difficult, and a work that is also described to be very unpleasant. But then you cannot do anything but to do it, because you must have to do it. It's part of your job, or that was the reason why you were hired, because that is the nature of the job that you really need to do. But in a way, if it's very routinary, it becomes already a work that is boring for you. So, what is the other word for drudgery? It talks about labor, or it talks about work, grind. Okay. When we say grind, it talks also of what you call a boring work that will take a long time to finish it. Okay, or that will take a long. I mean, it takes a long time and effort to finish that kind of job. It also is a hard work. That is what you call drudgery. So when it is routinary, then you get bored with it. So we say people want to get away from the drudgery of their everyday lives. Even you as well as students, sometimes you get bored with the routinary activities that you do. You wake up, you go to school, you do your homework, and then back to school, back home, and then the same routine every day. That's why your life becomes already boring. That's why it is described to be you want to stop or to get out from this drudgery of that everyday activity. Okay, so then the last word is espionage. It well, the word here is it came from the word spy. Okay, if you are hired as a spy, then sometimes your life can be dangerous as well. So why do we have espionage? Well, this is done by countries when they want to get secret information about their military tactics, about their government, what else, about the political secrets of a country. That's why they send people who mingle with the people in that country, but they have other objective, and that is to get information, and then they also report it to their own country. That is what you call the practice of being a spy. So the process is what you call espionage. It is the systematic use of spies, these are the people, to obtain secret information, especially about the military tactics, just as what I told you about their government, about their political secrets. These are, being done by countries who are, fighting with each other. That's why they find a way as to how they can defeat that enemy of theirs. That's why they send spies to another country to get those information that they need. But on the other hand, be careful, because that might be the cause of your death if you are one. So the authorities have arrested several people suspected of espionage. So when we say espionage, we are talking, this is the process of spying, the act of spying. So by the way, espionage is a noun. Okay, so after we have already seen the 15 words, now it's time also for you to at least again study them, and so that you will be able to answer my exercise. So I will be writing the sentences on the board, and try to fill in the correct word. Out of the 15 sentences, try to fit in already or complete the sentences using the words that we already had discussed. Okay, so before I write, please copy and then you copy your homework as well. Okay. Okay, so please copy now your homework in your English grammar notebook and be able to fill in the correct word based from the 15 words that I already had given you. So try to put the correct form of the word in the blanks. Please copy. Okay, continuously until number 15.
Rock Legion. AB on the track, yeah.
Okay, now that we are done with the 15 words and you've already copied also the 15 sentences for your closed test, then hopefully you will be finished with everything so that also you will be ready with your notebook for us to check. So please get ready with all your homework, with all the seat work that I had given, because we are going to check them right after, on the first week of our meeting. Okay, so this ends our lesson number 7. So thank you once again and hope to see you in class. Okay, bye. Stay safe, everyone.